Hello everyone, this is Direwolf20 and welcome to episode 39 of Direwolf20's Let's Play of Minecraft 1.21. Today I'm just keeping an eye on my whole coal farm over here. Everything seems to be running pretty smoothly. We still have a lot of void flame fuel in the backlog here, but I did set up the laser IO to transfer Eclipse Ember fuel. So once this whole thing empties, we'll probably have a bunch of crafting happening. I'm trying to speed up my charcoal a little bit, so I'm looking into ways to, improve that somewhat. I did look into the growth tablet. Just between episodes, I decided I wanted to try this to see how good it is. And it's okay. It's okay. It's not great. It's good. It does a good job. My concern is it doesn't speed things up particularly well. So what it does is it bone meals blocks randomly. So I had to replace all the grass in this area because it's bone mealing the grass. As you can see up here even. There's a few up there that it happened to bone meal. So it basically bone meals anything in its area of effect. And it speeds things up a little bit, but it's not crazy fast. So I'm looking into what other options I have for growth acceleration that I can do in this pack. Currently, so there's a few things we could do. That said, there are some things that got added today, speaking of the pack. So today the pack is upgraded to version 1.3, and there's a bunch of stuff that got added. There is mob grinding utils, so we can set up a mob farm now. That got released. Glass Central's back. We check out a new mod called Bank Storage, which I want to check out with you guys because it looks interesting. So I want to see that one a little bit. There's all kinds of cool types of stuff that got added in the pack today. So also lots of updates and bug fixes and tweaks and all that stuff. So excited to check all that stuff out. But first thing I want to do really is figure out how to speed up this charcoal production, because at this point we're gonna need more charcoal. Because now that we've got this faster production of stuff, I'm gonna have to figure out how to get more charcoal to make sure that we keep up. So I'm going to think about that for a few minutes here. But I think what I could do is maybe set up a mob farm, like a Cursed Earth dark room type thing. And from there we could start getting some bone meal. And that might be part of a way into doing things. And then obviously we're going to get into other power gen options in the future too. There's tons of options in the pack, right? So there'll be some mechanism things going on. There'll be some industrial foregoing stuff probably happening at some point. So lots of, and obviously more power progression. We're going to have to start automating some of power so that we can do more with that. But first things first, let's see, what should we do first here? Should we do a mob farm? Mob farm does sound like kind of a cool idea. Now I have a few ideas I want to do in my brain with how the mob farm might work. There's a few things we could set up for that. I wouldn't mind multiple types of mob farms. One that could be a generic form of mob farm that would be most things, just a dark room. And then I'd like to have maybe a spawner-based one from Apotheosis, because Apotheosis spawners is in the pack. So once you get a mob's spawn egg, or if you self-touch a spawner, you'll get, an Apotheosis spawner. That would be cool. That could be kind of neat, yeah. And then you can customize them to have crazy amounts of generation, and that's a good way to do lots of blaze rods or lots of a specific mob type that you're trying to get. Oh, that's cool. Spawned mobs will drop extra loot, increasing with level. Oh, that's neat. That's new. Isn't that new? I don't think that's been there before, right? I think that's pretty awesome. I think that's a new one. I don't remember that being around. Echoing. That's cool. Okay. So there's a couple ways we could set that up. But I think I should start with a basic mob farm, and then we can advance from there. Does that sound like a bit of a plan? I think so. So let's look into that. Also, a mob farm would be nice because it would allow me to accumulate more experience. And once we get lots more experience building up, then I could start looking into some really advanced Apotheosis-based enchants, and that would be good too. So I think a mob farm would serve two purposes here. One, EXP collection. Two, would be mob drop stuff. Cool. Let me check a couple things. Experience. So knowledge of the ages. does exist. Enemies' drops are directly converted to experience. So there's enchants from Apotheosis that do some cool stuff with regards to mob farms and whatnot. Specifically like this one. Now, if we set up a mob farm that used a clicker from Just Dire Things, we could enchant our sword and do this kind of thing. So what we could do, if we wanted to, would be to set up a mob farm that like was designed for collecting experience, and a separate mob farm that's designed for collecting mob drops. Or we could do like we did over here with our tree farm, where like once we hit a certain threshold of either like mob drops or experience, if we say like, hey, we've got enough mob drops, go ahead and convert the rest of them to experience. Because when you kill mobs normally, you'll get both, right? But then you can get extra experience. So what we could say is like, hey, we've got enough drops, let's switch out the sword with the Knowledge of the Ages sword. That could be cool. That could be cool. We should put down that as a to-do item, Knowledge of the Ages, and try that thing out. So that could be fun. Yeah, I like that plan. Okay. All right. I think we're good. So let's start thinking about where we're going to set up this beautiful mob farm that we're going to build. So we have like some passive mob farm type stuff over here. Right? So we could expand out to the left here and just have like a dark room sitting right next to our cow farm. And that could be like our mob farmy area. Let's go find like something cool to make it out of. I always like my mob farms to be like dark and, you know, but also not, you know, that good at building stuff. But we can look at like chiseled and see what they got, right? So there's like basalt is kind of like a nice darkish kind of brick. You know, blackstone, that could be cool. I'm probably not going to use coal for this, or deep slate. Blackstone sounds kind of nice. How am I for blackstone? We should check in our pocket storage. I've got a lot of blackstone. I could do that. I could do that. Okay. Let's look at chisel. You can actually go away for a minute, and I'm not doing AE at the moment, and away, and that's cool. Okay. So get out a bunch of blackstone for me. And let's say that we wanted to, you know, do something cool. Rounded blackstone bricks? Maybe. Show me what a 3x3 of that looks like. And we definitely want connected textures on if they do exist. Well, that's cool. Yeah. I'm thinking, give me a few minutes to like look at some of these and decide what I want, and then we'll be back. How's that sound? All right, let's get to building. So I've decided on some of this and some of this, and we'll see how it plays out. I don't know. So I've got these two block types. I kind of like this for a flooring. So let's get like a nice... I'm going to make it a 9. Just to kind of... Let's anchor that guy. Maybe more along... Maybe here? Does that sound cool? Give myself a couple blocks separation here. Yeah, I think that looks good. Nice. Okay. And then you should be a nice build to me. Or, you know, let's do a vertical column of height. How about height 5? Do we feel like that's too tall? That might be too short. Let's go with a 4. Yeah, because I don't want it to be too tall. I think that looks good. Do we like that structure look? Is that cool? I like that. And then what I could do is just have like a nice old build to me. I don't know. It feels kind of squat. It feels a little too short. Let's raise that up 1. Only because the building looks a little silly being that short. That definitely looks better, right? I think that looks better. Now I want to introduce a new block, which is probably not new to most of the viewers of this series, but, you know, if this is your first time really getting into modded. Oh, also, I was checking out something. I'll show you. I'm still looking for ways to speed up my tree farm, and I was doing a little bit of off-camera work. That's what this recipe is about. I'll show you what that's about in a minute here. I want to look at Glassential. This is a cool mod. Adds a bunch of glass options for things like slabs and trapdoors and doors and all kinds of other cool stuff that we'll be taking a look at. But the most, in my opinion, the most useful thing that you can make is tinted ethereal glass. So tinted glass, which you can generally get from Minecraft, doesn't let light through, right? And then there's ethereal glass from Glassential, which is not solid to players, which means players can walk through it, no one else can, right? And then there's reverse ethereal glass, which is the opposite. It's only solid for players. And then ghostly glass, not solid to entities. I don't get it. I guess it's not solid to anything then? Is there anything that's not an entity? Everything's an entity, right? Trying to think about where that applies. So there's all kinds of cool glasses that you can make, but tinted ethereal is like one of my favorites, and I'll tell you why. I'm gonna get like 24 of those tinted ethereal glass. That should be cool. Because it's really kind of the best glass to use for a mob farm. Because if we look at the light level in here, if we place this stuff, okay, it's now dark in this room, and I'll turn off my night vision to demonstrate that. So this glass blocks light, but it's also transparent, and players can walk through it, but mobs can't. So that's like the quintessential mob farm, you know, setup there. So, and you know, it's perfect is really what it is. Cool. That looks good to me. And I might make the roof kind of match. I might do that real quick. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. I want to use that cool pattern stuff for the roof, mostly because the floor down here is going to almost entirely turn into grass. I don't know if I have enough grass for this, but I want like a 5x5. Yeah, I didn't have enough grass for that. Let's use dirt then. That looks good. I'm gonna put on my night vision so you guys can see again. But that should be a nice dark room for us. So I think that works. Is that cool? I think it's cool. So now let's take a look at mob grinding utilities. Super cool mod. Has a bunch of cool stuff. So mob grind, I'm going to put grinding, so we filter specifically to mob grinding utilities. Has all kinds of cool things. Fans to push mobs away. It has a mob masher, which will automatically kill mobs for you. It has iron spikes that will, you know, do stuff like, you know, killing things, but like it's cheaper. Iron spikes just use iron, where the mob masher uses a bunch of diamonds and more iron and redstone. It has an absorption hopper, which is like a area of effect item and experience pickup. It has tanks to store experience in, typically. It has an XP tap, which is cool because it allows you to turn fluid XP back into orbs. Very nice. Has all kinds of neat abilities. Entity conveyor. Yeah, that's cool. Entity spawner. Can spawn mobs in a 3x1. Uses a mob egg in the top slot. Fueled by solid XP jelly babies. Enhanced with XP speed upgrades. So you can make solid XP. It has an ender inhibitor to prevent mobs from teleporting in its area of effect. Like all kinds of cool stuff. It also has tinted glass. That's tough enough to withstand withers. So that's pretty cool. But the main thing I want to use this mod for today is checking out Dreadful Dirt. What this does is it automatically spawns hostile mobs. Now, if it's exposed to daylight, it will ignite and burn itself and burn away. And any light level of 5 or above stops hostile mob spawns. So it's a cool way to set up a mob farm because it'll kind of like quickly force mobs to spawn for you. However, to get this stuff, we're going to need a rotten egg, which creates a 5x5 area of dreadful dirt. Cool. Used on grass, dirt, mycelium, or farmland. To get a rotten egg, you're going to get some GM chicken feed, which is cursed. So there's 3 types. There's nutritious, and then there's GM chicken feed, and then there's cursed. This will create a rotten egg. This will create a golden egg, which creates delightful dirt, which spawns passive mobs, like cows and sheep and all that stuff. But GM chicken feed is where we're at, so we're going to start with that. So this guy's pretty easy to make, I think, with our current setup. All I'm going to need are some buckets of liquid experience, which, hopefully, I think I set it up so I can pull that out of... So first off, does this work with Dyer's? Essence, pneumatic craft, sophisticated core, mild grinding utilities. Hey, there's me! Just Dyer things. Yay, it works! Wasn't entirely sure if that was going to be good or not, and it is. Yay! So I think I can extract the fluid here into a tank. I thought I set it up so I could bucket out of here, but maybe not. Oh, I can, just not with more than 1 bucket. Okay, cool. That might be something I need to fix. See, I knew I set up bucketing, but I guess it occurs to me that I don't have a way to make it if you have more than 1 bucket, like I did there. So that's cool. So now we've got GM chicken feed. So if you're not using just Dyer things for your experience holding, there's lots of other mods that support that. As we saw, there's about 5-6 mods in the pack that add a form of liquid experience. There's pneumatic craft, there's sophisticated core, there's mob grinding utils, there's just Dyer things, there's Ender IO, and there's industrial foregoing. So those 6 mods add a form of liquid experience, which should all be about the same, but yes. So now we've got GM chicken feed, so we need to go feed that GM chicken feed to a chicken. Kind of in the name. Let's go find one. Chicken, please. Elytra time. Woo. Oh, look who came to visit. Some friends. Huh. Are you the... Yeah, you're one of those can't eat. Hey, and there's my chicken. Nice. Come here, you. I got my rotten egg. Cool. All right, crossbows, go away. Ominous bottle for later. Ominous banner, egg, rotten egg, feathers. Good. Cool. So now for the dark room mechanic. So a couple things we're going to want. Let's first off get a light in here, because I want a way to toggle on and off a light. And generally speaking, I just go with a redstone lamp for this. Really, really don't need to overcomplicate this setup. You know. We just need a lever up here. For now, I'll just put a lever up here. I may at some point, you know, run some redstone. Yeah, so what else we could do, probably, just to make things easier. Maybe run a little bit of a... Wow, I am low on redstone. I am low on iron. There is a lot of resources I do not have a lot of, and that is a thing. So lights on, lights off. Cool? Is that good? On, off. On, off. Perfect. So now with the lights on, I will come in here and place my rotten egg. And that's looking good. Now you'll notice this stuff does nothing. That's 100% because the light's on. With the light off, it's going to spawn a bunch of mobs for us. And it'll do so a lot faster than if this stuff wasn't here. But it's not like crazy fast either. Like there's a skeleton, there's an enderman, there's some creepers. And there's a limit to how much it's allowed to spawn. So like it'll stop spawning after a little bit. But now we're going to need ways to like automatically, you know, kill them. So there's a few options. that we know of, right? Now, I feel like I want to use the advanced clicker from Just Dire Things because I'm going to be able to enchant it. Especially as we get into that plan that I told you guys about with the Knowledge of the Ages thing, where I'll be able to have multiple... but at least for the start, we can use like a nice looting sword, right? So this should be relatively easy to configure. I'm just going to get a clicker. Okay, so that's going to require you. And I really, really need to, like, automate this setup at some point soon. I think that was my... I'm super low on redstone. It wasn't my very last piece of redstone, but, like, holy cow, are we close to being out of redstone. That is a problem. Do we still have this in progress? Don't know that we do. I feel like I need to, like, test that. Because I know I, like, control-clicked it, didn't I? Oh, we're out of iron. Well, there's your problem. There's your problem. Cool. Now we're good. We should be very nice and quick about that. How is my fuel going, by the way? So you're nice and full. That's good. You're running on fuel, and as promised, it's 4,000 FE per tick. So you'll notice it's not using any fuel until we get to that 4996 number. So we got a couple. That's good. I feel like we're doing good. Like, I feel like it's very close to breaking even, but like we're doing pretty good. Yeah, we're fine. Cool. And then I want to upgrade you to an advanced clicker, which is going to be all kinds of effort. There goes my diamonds. You can see it over there. Nice. Come on, diamonds. So I'm thinking I'll put this dude. Did they despawn? That's interesting. I didn't know they would do that. Guess because I got far enough away, maybe? I should probably claim these chunks, right? Now this is perfectly fine. So what I'm thinking is we'll put... Should I put everything behind it? Behind it sounds like a good plan, right? Yeah, I like that. Alright, so we're going to have a clicker back here. And it really doesn't matter what direction it's facing, per se. But, you know, it doesn't matter at all. So let's configure your area of effect real quick. Does that seem cool? So that's going to be... I wanted to go back one more. That's going to encompass the whole building, right? So anything that's inside this building should be clicked. And then we want to configure it to only click on hostile mobs, target hostile. I don't care what they are, just target them. Okay. And it's going to be a left click. And we're going to definitely need some power down here. Cool. Hooray, that worked! And it won't click me, because I'm not a hostile mob. Nice. He was being hit by an empty hand, by the way. So the clicker can click with an empty hand. 100% doable. Same for right-clicking, by the way. So that's cool. I like that. I like that a lot. I like it a lot. So I might make a custom Celestial Gem sword for the purposes of doing this. Because I want to obviously have my own sword that I'm going to keep. Though... I could make a new Eclipse Alloy sword. That only has cauterized wounds on it, so there's no real harm in leaving it there. Because, technically speaking, if you want to make an Eclipse Alloy sword, it's 2 Eclipse Alloy. If you want to upgrade it's 1 Eclipse alloy and 2 Eclipse alloy. So it's 3 to upgrade your Celestia. So it's a little bit cheaper to make a new one rather than upgrade the existing one. Just saying. Just saying. That might be a thing we do. So what I could do... Alright, so let's turn off render area here. Because I could get a collector, or I could use drops teleporter, right? Doesn't really matter which one I go with. Technically, if you're min-maxing, the drops teleporter uses forge energy, and the collector doesn't. So it's technically a little bit cheaper, but honestly, it's such an insignificant value, it like probably doesn't matter. But drops teleporter would technically be more expensive. But I like the idea of having one less block over there to deal with and manage, so I'm probably going to go that route. So let's do that. Let's get the drops teleporter upgrade on here. Okay. So you're going to be one of these. And then you're going to be a couple of you. And then you're going to be a couple of you. And then we're just waiting on that iron. There it goes. Nice. And drops teleporter ready to roll. Cool. So you're going to go in the sword here. Awesome. And he has looting on him already, which is good. And then I'll make a new Eclipse alloy sword shortly, and that'll be awesome too. Cool. So now what we're going to want is some functional storage because, and I think we're probably at the point where I should start teaching you how to make functional storage. So I'm going to teach you how to do this, and I'm going to teach you how to do this. And I put these in here first because that's important. And I should also teach you how to do this. And then I can teach you void upgrades, which I think would be important. And while I'm at it, I should do a dispenser. And a dropper. Because I keep saying to myself, I should teach the AE system how to make that. And now I did finally. Yay. So I could get like 8-ish of these. And I can get a couple of void upgrades. I don't know exactly how many of these we're going to need, but we'll start with that. I don't think we need any compacting, but we will need a controller. Goodness, we're low on redstone. Guess who's going to be mining between episodes? Hopefully I don't need no more redstones anytime soon. Alright, so what I'm going to set up here now is really very simple. I'm going to have you... Is that cool? I feel like that's cool. And then I should have... I'm going to make 2 more of you. I don't know why I have so much obsidian, but I'm not having a problem making obsidian, so that's cool. Every time I go to, like, craft something with obsidian, I'm like, this is going to be when I run out. And then I don't run out, so I don't know where it's all coming from, but... Cool? That looks good to me. So now you're all bound. I'm not going to lock them yet. What I'm going to do is I'm going to bind you to the storage drawer controller. Cool. And now you're ready to roll. So in theory, I put this in here. And I turn off the lights. And mobs start spawning. And we're going to get some experience. And some drops. I believe. Come on, mobs. There you go. And you know what? Slimes don't count as an hostile. So maybe I should probably to all living. Adult? You think adult will count? Are slimes adults? I don't know. Oh no, I think that's ignoring a baby skeleton. Target child. Target player. Target all living. If I do all living, I think that includes me. Now, I could also speed this up because he's a little bit slow. I'm going to do every 5 ticks, which means, yeah. I could make it 1 tick, by the way. That ain't bad. Lights on. Now, if I go in there, it's going to attack me a little bit, right? Yep, out. So that's one flaw in my plan. Wow, that's a lot of experience. My level 30, like, was that just all from this? Like, holy cow, that's a lot. All right, let's get another experience holder. Shouldn't be too bad. Crafting in progress. Thank you. And your area of effect, I should be able to copy and paste this area of effect. Right. Copied. And all I want to do is copy area and offset. There you go. Sweet. Cool. And then I can just change you to be that because you're off by 1x. All right. And now if I turn on collect experience, okay, that should be cool. I like that. Yeah. And I'll leave this on pulse mode, which means he'll only affect the player's experience level when he receives a redstone pulse, which should be never. Okay. So now with collect experience turned on, look at that. Is that cool? I feel like it's cool. Yeah, we already got 7 levels. Okay. It's funny, whatever mob is doing that, like, make them come out of the ground thing, it looks like they're invulnerable while they're coming out of the ground, but, my thing doesn't recognize them as, yeah, it's interesting. Cool. I can turn on my night vision again, by the way, so I can see what's going on there for you guys. That's looking pretty good, right? I'm cool with that. So that's a mob farm. Using just dire things and mob grinding kills. I'm on board. I think that's neato. So we've got this thing getting powered by that thing. We've got looting on it. That's pretty good. Is there anything else I need to think about for this? No, really? And you guys hopefully will behave yourself? I might make 1 more of these. They'll somehow have obsidian. So that time I think it used crying obsidian, but meh. So I want to have like enough space for all the drops that are going to occur, and I'm hoping what'll happen, because I set these to void, whenever an item goes in here, it's going to go into whatever slot can hold it, and then it will void excess by default. So I don't know if we'll need these 3, but we'll find out pretty quickly, right? Should be cool. Alright, and already 20 experience levels. That's cool. And I can come over here and steal this, by the way. And then when I go home, it deposits automatically. Is that cool? I think so. I think so. Alright, that's a mob farm. Right? I don't think there's the only thing left to do now would be making a new sword. So we're definitely going to want an Eclipse alloy sword, right? Not on autocraft, though. I don't think we need that. We don't have to go that crazy. Cool. So it's making netherite and scrap and doing the things and putting it all together and making the block so it can make the Eclipse alloy, and then we'll have a nice new sword. Cool. All right. So that should be almost done now. Okay, Eclipse Alloy Sword. Beautiful. So let's check out what upgrades we've got on this guy. So we have Drops Teleporter, we have Mob X-Ray, and we have Cauterized Wounds. So I'm gonna get another Cauterized Wounds, because that's like definitely a favorite of mine. I like that one. Good, you're normal. You're not crazy golden apples. I didn't want you to use those, you know, really nice ones. You know what I should probably do is prep another one of these, because I definitely want to check out Mob X-Ray. So it shouldn't be too hard to guess what Mob X-Ray does, because we know what Ore X-Ray does, so we should be able to guess what Mob X-Ray does. Oh, that's a lot more calibrated skulky things. We might check that out next episode. That would be fine. At least for now, I can do my Cauterized Wounds and get that back up and running. And then I'm going to want to make another looting. 3-book. So I'm going to probably do this bit off camera a little bit. Okay. Let's go downstairs for a sec, because I'm noticing that you may be a problem fuel-wise. How are we for fuel? 3. So that's not bad. Oh yeah, one thing I wanted to show you guys. I said I was going to show you this, and then we have to wrap up. What I decided to try out was this block from Zycraft. So I don't know exactly. I assume the green particle effects that are occurring here are implying the fact that the accelerated planter is randomly bone mealing this sapling. So I should be able to make more accelerated planters. I would assume. So accelerated planters are relatively easy to get. We just need buckets. Cool. I need some machine base, which is Kivy and aluminum ingots from Zycraft. Not a big deal there. And then annoyingly, a lot of water buckets, which I should begin thinking about automating. But if I just get a few of these, that could be fun. I'm just going to get a few. So if I were to like... And now they do have a facing, by the way. So make sure that when you place them, they're kind of facing the right direction. So I don't know how much of an improvement that's going to be. Like, I don't know if this is like a crazy... It doesn't look crazy, but again, not terrible. I think all the blocks I just placed have almost already grown. So I feel like that's a lot. I feel like that's doing pretty good. That's not bad. So I think if I replace more of the dirt with these planters from Zycraft, I can... See, look, those two just grew. It's cool. I think they're growing faster for sure. I feel like that's a pretty significant boost, actually. Yeah. I think one by itself is not noticeable, but when you start replacing a bunch of them, it becomes very noticeable. And that should be a significant increase in charcoal production, which in turn will hopefully lead to a significant increase in coal production. And then I can put you in here, and I'm getting 960 FE per tick, by the way. It has a 16x burn speed multiplier. So pretty significant, you know, close to 1,000 by itself, and then you get 4,000 from the liquid fuel. I don't have a liquid fuel pocket generator, but I should probably consider one at some point. Anyway, it's time to wrap up. So Daryl20 signing off. Hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. We'll come back next time and have more fun with Just Dire things and, you know, other mods as well, of course. You know, I know people are, you know, looking for other mods, but I'm enjoying playing with my mod a little bit to try and understand its balance. So for now, Daryl20 signing off. Hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. You know the deal. Take it easy.